Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good evening everyone and good morning everyone. Welcome back to Monday Sutta discussion, day 92. The title of the talk tonight is very interesting. Deal and heal your resentment. We call āghāta for resentment in Pali, a Buddhist perspective. So resentment is very, is a very bitter experience for all of us. So we want to understand what is resentment, and then we want to understand the nature of resentment, and then we have to find out how to deal with it and how to heal our resentment if we have. So this is our plan for today. And in order for us to discuss this topic, I'm going to be selecting a sutta. This sutta is called Āghatavatthu Sutta, which appears in the Anguttara Nikaya, 10th section, and 79 Sutta. Now, the suttas that come between 79 and 80, they both 79 and 80, they both reflect about resentment. Okay, so what is resentment? Now, this is the first thing that we have to discuss. Now, we know that resentment basically means you dislike or angry at someone or something because you have been hurt or not treated fairly. So you are angry. Now we know that we normally angry at certain people, at certain things because of some reasons, but they could be for a short time. But when it comes to resentment, you are angry at someone or something for a reason. So the reason could be a maltreatment, or that you felt that you were hurt before. Maybe something triggers you at this point to feel resentful about something in the past. So basically, there is a difference between anger and resentment. Anger can be short time, but resentment means that you are angry or you dislike someone or something because you've been treated, you've been treated unfairly. At the same time, you've been hurt for something that happened in the past. Maybe something that happens now can trigger something happened in the past. So resentment looks like long term, and anger could be short time. So that is a basic difference. So is there a Pali word for resentment? Yes. The Pali word for resentment is āghāta. Now, I know that you all like to know how to deal with resentment and how to heal the wounds that came out of resentment. But I wanted to touch, some of the references and some of the very interesting Pali words about anger and all, degrees of aversion. So let me share with you couple very interesting Pali words about anger. So we know kodha. Kodha basically means anger. Now in one stanza, if you can remember in the Dhammapada, Satchang bhane na kucheya dajja pasmin piyachito etehi tihitanehi gache devan santiki. If you want to be reborn in a heaven as a deity, deva, you need to do three things. Satchang, speak the truth always, and dajjas pasmin piyachito, which means give as much as you can, maybe as little as you can. Na kuchaya, not being angry. So if you are not being angry, and if you can speak the truth always, and if you can donate even as little as you can, these three things help you to be reborn in one of the 6 heavens. So even in that stance, we understand Koda simply means anger. It's normal anger. Now we can see that some people even get irritated for something, maybe just at something very normal, just at something very casual, but other people know how to get over such incidents. So on a daily basis we might get irritated for different reasons. In those circumstances, I don't call it is resentment, āghāta. It is basically normal anger. I mean, irritation, annoyance. So they all come in this anger, inside anger. So one word is anger, which means koda in Pali. The second word is upanaha. So upanaha means hostility. I would say grudge. What could be a better word? I would say taking revenge, right? So taking revenge. Now, please keep in mind, what happens when you have resentment? Then you get angry, then you will harbor grudges, then you will take revenge, and all that happens, right? That's why resentment is very dangerous. So normal anger is koda, and taking revenge or revenge is called upanaha in Pali. And āghāta is resentment, which we are talking today. And there's another word called vyapada. Vyapada is ill will. Now the word vyapada, another word called patigha, they are taken synonymously. Now we see vyapada as a immoral, unskillful thought in the Dhamma. Everywhere in the Dhamma, if you can take a look at 10 unskillful activities, and there are 3 unskillful thoughts. So one of them is ill will. So intention, at least have an intention of destroying someone, other beings. So that is called ill will. But when you take a look at of the Abhidhamma, higher Dhamma, you can see in the description of akusala thoughts, akusala chittas, there are 2 dosa-based thoughts. I would say hatred-based chittas. So they are the both of those chittas are taken as being patigha. Patigha means the expanded version of vyapada. So in my understanding, patigha could be the whole thing. Koda, that means anger, ill will, hostility, resentment, and all that can be taken as patigha. So patigha means when your anger has been developed to the highest extent of whatever that thing called hatred. So that expanded hatred is called as being patigha. So now we talk about koda, which means anger. Vyapada means ill will, although it is synonymously taken as patigha as well. Upanaha means grudge, or I would say revenge. Āghāta is resentment, which we are talking today. And then patigha. So patigha means the expanded version of your hatred. Now we know that these Pali words have the connotative meanings as such. So we have to understand these connotative meanings other than the technical meanings of in English language, right? Okay, so with that in mind, we understand resentment means you are punishing yourself. So you are mentally punishing you. So this is really interesting. Now, I want to share with you something I know about what can happen to someone who is really resentful. So the moment you start to resent a person, now, as we explain at the beginning, resentment means that you are angry or you dislike someone or something because you think that you are poorly treated, Maybe they did something to you. So whenever you have that resentment, what will happen? The moment you start to resent a person, you become his or her slave, which is not good. Why you want to be a slave to other person? How you will become a slave to that person that you make the object to be, your resentment? He or she controls your dreams, absorbs your digestion. You can't eat. You always think about that person. You always try to, bring that person to your daily chores and everything, even to your eating. So then what happens? That person robs you of your peace of mind and goodwill, take away the pleasure of your work. So you can't work too. Every time you go to work, that person will come to your mind. Oh, I'm so resentful. I want to do something. I want to find justice and all that. Not even that. He ruins your religion and nullifies your prayers. You can't even go to a temple. You can't even practice meditation because this pops up in your mind. This keeps developing because you are not dealing with it. And those wounds, they are toxic, right? So you can't, do your prayers, and you can't take a vacation without this person, right? He or she always comes to you. Not even that. He or she destroys your freedom of mind and hounds you wherever you go. There is no way to escape this person you resent, because you taking that person so, strongly into your mindset, in your perspective. Not even that. Whenever you wake up, you are with that person, right? And furthermore, he or she invades your privacy when you go to sleep. You can't even sleep well because whenever you go to sleep, fall asleep, that person will come to your mind. This happened. I was poorly treated, so I want to do something. I want to take revenge and all that. Whenever you drive, this person also with you. So he or she is close beside you when you drive your car. When you are on the job, you can never have efficiency or happiness because this person influences even the tone of your voice. He requires you to take medicine for, indigestion, headaches, and loss of energy. So you feel that you are drained by this person. He even he even steals your last moment of consciousness. Even you're gonna die one day, this person will be in your mind, which is pretty bad. Not even whenever you die, whenever you think that your consciousness doesn't work very well, on a day, this person will, disturb you. So, okay, my question is, so you have to decide, you want to be a slave and harbor resentment, or you want to deal with this resentment and heal the wounds out of this chaotic, toxic person or the incident. So that's something you need to understand, because do not be a slave to anyone, because you deserve your freedom, you deserve your mental clarity, you deserve your happiness, you deserve your joy. Do not take it for granted. Do not give it to a person, thinking that this person did something to me. Maybe that person doesn't even know what's going on. Maybe whatever you do might not affect that person too, which is really irrational, right? So keep that in mind. And then, why majority of people who are resentful think that they wanted to be resentful? Now, the sutta that we're going to be discourse which we're going to be talking today has many of the reasons why, but I would like to discuss with you three main reasons why people feel that they wanted to be resentful. The first reason why people want to be resentful: what we feel people did to us that was unnecessary, unnecessarily mean, hurtful, and thoughtless. So in the first place, a lot of people who have resentment, they think that people that they know or that they don't know did this to me, which is really bad, which is really poor, which is really harmful, and that can be one of the main reasons of why they want to keep resentment. Number two, the opposite. What people in their lives did not do for them. Now, a lot of people, they have some thoughts. Okay, my mom didn't give me this thing. My mom didn't give me the property. My mom didn't give me money. My mom didn't fulfill duties to us. My dad didn't do this. My family didn't do it. My partner, my husband, my wife. So they are trying to see that what their inner circle people, what the people in their inner circle could not do to them, they're going to make it as an object, as a cause of resentment. So the first thing is what they did. The second thing is what they did not. Number three. And there may be some other people who are resentful who might think that other people did not do enough for them. Let's say my family didn't treat me enough. My partner didn't treat me enough. My partner didn't take me out enough. My partner or spouse or whoever didn't care me enough. So the third reason is that some people who are resentful might think that the people in their inner circles do not do things enough to them. So these are the main three reasons that we can see in many people who are resentful. But in my understanding, this is a poor understanding. Why we want to depend on other people? Why we want to depend on the demands of other people, right? So we're going to be discussing all that. So the opposite of resentment and what could apparently be seen to us as the anecdote, as the solution to resentment is forgiveness. But the people who are resentful, they don't like to forgive other people. Why? Because they think that they can achieve the justice by being resentful to other people, which will not happen the way that they think, right? So they think one day, with my resentment, with my continuous resentment towards the person, towards an incident, I could achieve justice. Then again, what can also be added to this resentment is the clinging. Because whenever you keep resentful towards someone or something, then what will happen? You automatically cling to that person, the resentment about that person, or the resentment about that thing. Then what will happen to you? You hang on to perceived offenses, and there will be no opportunity to heal, to deal or heal, because you cling to a futile need to be right, so that it overrides the capacity to heal and be at peace with ourselves. So why we want to let that happen, right? So it's a big problem. And not even that. Now, clinging is a big problem. So clinging, in Buddhist understanding, we identify as a word called upadana. So whenever you have resentment, so you crave for resentment, and then you are developing it into clinging. So clinging is very dangerous, because you never know, your clinging might develop to that extent. Some people even don't know that they are clung to their resentment. They think they only have resentment, but over time they are clung to they have been clinging to that particular resentment object, that person or the incident. So you need to be very careful. You need to review what's going on, and you need to deal with it. You need to heal those wounds of resentment. So this is not as easy as I said, but I'm gonna share with you different aspects of how to deal with this resentment, that which we talk about this these main reasons of why people cling to resentment, and how we need to understand the resentment. So before all that, why don't I read the Pali Sutta, which we have a basis for today's talk. Once again, I want to share with you, the sutta is Āghātavatthu Sutta. So Vattu means objects, Āghāta means resentment. So objects of resentment, or I would say grounds for resentment, which appears in the Anguttara Nikaya, 10th section, 79 Sutta. Savatthi, the sutta was delivered when the Buddha was at Savatthi, the eastern part of the Savatthi city. Dasa imani bhikkhave āghātavattuni katamani dasa. So the translation goes this way. Monks, there are 10 grounds for resentment. Now, Buddha has 10 grounds for why people are resentful. Normally, we know in our society, people have 3 major causes for why they are resentful. As I said to you at the beginning, it could be something that their inner circle people did. Number 2, it may be something that the people in their inner circle could not do to them. The third reason is that they think that the people in their inner circles did not do enough. So these are the main 3 reasons why we see what we can see in the people who are resentful towards other people or other things. But Buddha shares with us 10 reasons, 10 grounds for why people are getting resentful. Okay, number 1. Anattamme achariti āghātam bandhati. Okay, what does it mean? Anattamme achariti āghātam bandhati. Thinking they did wrong to me. Now, Buddha has clarified the 10 as in 3 ways. First 3 is about oneself. The second 3 is about people that we like and what happened to them, how other people treat the people that we like, and the next 3 is about the people, the sort of treatment other people do to people who we like. Okay, so let's go see the first one. The first one is anattamme achariti āghātam bandhati. So if you are resentful, you might feel sometimes somebody did wrong to me. Okay. Number 2, anattamme charatiti āghātam bandhati. Thinking they are doing wrong to me. Now, let's say the first ground for resentment for yourself is that somebody already did this thing to me, this unfair treatment. Number 2 is that somebody is still doing this bullying or unfair treatment to you. Number 3, anattamme charissati iti āghātam bandhati. Somebody will do in the future. Somebody will mistreat me. Somebody will do wrong to me in the future. So you might be resentful in 3 ways. The first way is that somebody did something bad to you. The second thing is somebody is still doing something to you, or somebody will do a bad thing to you in the future. So these are the first 3 grounds or reasons for resentment. Now, the second 3 grounds are piyassa me manāpassa anattang achariti āghātam bandhati, which means you think that somebody is doing a bad thing, or somebody is mean to someone that I know, that I like. So I would say in the proper way, somebody has done a bad thing to someone I like in the past. So I am resentful. So for example, there is a friend that I know, I really like, and somebody did a bad thing to that person in the past. So I am resentful. And then piyassa me manāpassa anattang charati. Somebody is doing, or somebody is mean to someone that I know at this moment. And number 6, piyassa me manāpassa anattang charissati. Somebody is mean or doing a bad thing or mistreating someone that I know in the future. Okay? So now we first talk about 3 aspects of oneself. Somebody did a bad thing to me in the past. Somebody is doing a bad thing to me now. Somebody will do a bad thing to me in the future. And then somebody is doing a bad thing to one of my good friends did a bad thing to one of my good friends in the past. Somebody is still doing a bad thing to one of my friends that I like. Somebody will do a bad thing to one of my friends in the future. And then appyasame amanapassa attang achari. That means someone I dislike, right? So someone helps someone I dislike in the past. People can be resentful about helps other people did to people that I don't like. Appyasame amanapassa attang charati. So someone is helping someone I dislike at the moment. So I may be resentful. I mean, not me, I mean people out there. Appyasame amanapassa attang charisati, the future sense, which means someone is helping someone I dislike in the future, so I'm resentful. So these are the 9 main grounds, and there's the last one, 10th one, atthanecha kuppati. There are people who get resentful for no reason. There are people who get resentful for no reason, which is pretty bad, right? So there are people. So that's the 10th ground. Okay, now I think you sort of understood what could be the grounds that the Buddha taught here in this sutta called Āghatavatthu Sutta for people who getting resentful in their life. Okay, let me read again. First is about me. Second is about the people I like. Third is other people who I don't like. And these are the aspects where I can be resentful. And we know that if we resentful for a moment, what can cost us, predominantly is that we cost our psychic and physical energies. So I would say, if you want to replaying the past over and over, and then that will cost your psychic and physical energies, which is not good. So that's why you need to deal with it. So what I suggest before I jump into the nature of resentment and how to deal with it in order to heal your resentment, I want to share with you that resentment basically influences us as a re-experience. So what can happen when you think about your past treatment, mistreatments by other people, is that you want to re-experience what they did to you, and then what will happen, what you feel about the justice, that you were mistreated, you were poorly treated by someone, you were not given your chances, opportunities, you were not given the scholarship, you were not given the job, you were not given compliments. So you are trying to achieve the justice of those things. I want to show those people that you were wrong, you were not right at that time. I want to prove this is what is going on. But there is a flip side to this. The flip side is this is mostly unnecessary. This is mostly unnecessary. For the most part, this attempt is unnecessary because you are paying with your physical and mental energy, and then it will really destroy all the energies for your current and present and the future life, future times of your life. So now I'm gonna be talking about what we could do in order to get rid of or let go of resentments. So there are 2 suttas in the same Anguttara Nikaya. I would share with you. They are Āghāta Sutta, Anguttara Nikaya 5.161, and Dutiya Āghāta Sutta, Anguttara Nikaya 5.162. In the Āghāta Sutta, Anguttara Nikaya 5.161, the Buddha says there are fundamentally 5 steps you can put into practice to overcome resentment. What are they? Panchime bhikkave āghāta pativinaya yatta bhikkhuno uppanno āghātu sabbusu pativine tabbu. 5 methods to completely get rid of resentment. Completely get rid of your resentment. Number 1. Yasmin bhikkave puggale āghātu jayeta metta tasmin bhave tabba. Evang tasmin puggale āghātu pativine tabbu. Okay, so the first thing that you can do to get rid of your resentment is metta, loving kindness. This is the magic, the first magic that you can practice in your life. What is metta? Now, metta simply means that you practice loving thoughts to you in the first place, and then you are understanding that other people want the same degree of, maybe more degree of loving love. I would say loving kind when it becomes platonic. So you need to give loving kindness to other people, just as how you feel that you want to have loving kindness to yourself. So this is the first step that the Buddha asked us to practice in order for dealing with resentment. Metta, loving kindness, is not just a sitting meditation, in my understanding. Loving kindness is a practice. When I say it's a practice, then you need to practice it at all times. Let's say you talk to someone, you speak to someone, you have to talk with loving kindness. Some people talk with different thoughts. Some people do not understand loving kindness in action, especially when they do other chores, activities. When you drive with loving kindness. When you do other things in your life, you gotta do with loving kindness. That's how you practice loving kindness in reality. It is not just you sit down and then you say that may I be well, happy, peaceful, may no harm come to me, no problems. And then once you rise, stand up, you will forget all that. It's good to start, but then what you have to do is that you gotta talk to people, other people, with loving kindness. You gotta think with loving kindness, even your thoughts when you want to think about something, a plan or whatever. When you act on differently, let's say you are sweeping your floor, you are cleaning your house, you are doing your grocery, you are doing I would say laundry, etc., etc. You are doing everything with loving kindness. You don't have anger, you don't have any problem. Why? Because anger and all that, this resentment will definitely cost you a lot. So the first thing is loving kindness, but not just as a meditation when you sit down, as a full-time practice. Okay? Don't make it a part-time practice like a job. Number 2, Karuna. Karuna, compassion. This is the second step Buddha asks us to deal with our resentment so that we can heal our wounds, the toxic wounds. It's a cancer. Resentment is a cancer because it slowly destroys us. The cancer is the same thing, right? The cancer is slowly destroyed, not right away. So how can we put karuna, compassion, into the practice of getting rid of resentment? What is karuna? We know there are 2 words in English when we talk about compassion. So I would say empathy and compassion. So empathy means anukampa and compassion means karuna. So what can affect us in the first place is upon a situation, I would say is empathy. Let's say I feel empathetic about someone's suffering. So I want to feel that I want to feel the same of how that person is suffering. But empathy does not may not do the best, may not do the full support to that particular person. So when you are compassionate only, you will do do the whole whatever the thing that is as required. So I do see a difference between empathy and compassion. So I would say compassion is the expanded version of empathy. Empathy is which normally triggers in us when we see a person who is suffering. So what you have to do is not just the empathy, you gotta go into karuna, compassion. Compassion basically means that you understand suffering as empathy, as given in empathy, and then you try to see what I'm gonna do. So how can you do that with resentment? Okay, somebody did a bad thing to me in the past. How can I practice, in the first place, metta? Okay, I understand how he responded to me, how he mistreated, but I understand that it's all gone. I don't want to make it a problem. Karuna, how can I use karuna to deal with resentment? Okay, so I can easily be resentful, but I can hardly be compassionate towards someone who did a bad thing to me. So I'm compassionate. This is over and I have no more connection with that particular person or that event, and plus it was in the past. So I don't want to, keep that in my mind. So karuna. And I understand what everyone needs. Maybe somebody did to you, maybe not intentionally, right? So we have to be kind. We have to be compassionate towards those beings. Maybe they can't do anything, more in your life. So you gotta be compassionate towards those people. And before everything, you had to be self-compassionate to you. Why you torture yourself? Why you punish yourself? You had to be compassionate to you first, right? So if you are not compassionate to you, self-compassionate to you, and then what will happen is that you will not get over the resentment. Resentment is not in other people, it's in us. So we have to be first self-compassionate. If you want to read more about self-compassion, I wrote a book recently, Self-Compassion. You can see probably on Amazon. The third step that we can deal with resentment is upekha, equanimity. So are we really, balanced? Are we really able to balance out our life? Now, why I want to take this so serious and why I want to think something too much which happened in the past, which I can't change now, and those people are not anymore in my life too, and I'm not in their life too. So I want to balance my life. I don't want to go back to the past which I cannot change. So you gotta try to balance out your life, not to push you to go back to the past or not to worry too much about your future. You gotta balance out yourself. So you can practice upekha to deal and heal your resentment. And the last two, in this steps are really interesting. Asati manasikaro. Asati manasikaro means disregard. Disregard is very interesting too, because sometimes you have to disregard the past, the things that happened to you in the past. Why you want to regard it? Why you want to take it so serious? It happened. You gotta deconstruct you from that past event. You gotta deconstruct you from all the past events that cause you to be resentful. So you can use disregard to deal with your resentment. You have resentment because you regard it. You consider it as something that you want to think about. But if you disregard it, if you neglect it, you won't be able to keep yourself resentful. That's the fourth step. And the fifth step is kamma sakata. Kamma sakata means kamma, the concept of kamma. Okay, how can we use kamma in order to, let go of our resentment? Okay, kamma means action, intentional actions in the Buddhist teaching. So let's say we might perhaps think, okay, this person who was mean to me maybe was not intentional, unintentional. How do I know? Maybe the group of people who were mean to me, they were not really intentional. Maybe they have to make that choice. They were not really mean to me, but they had to make that choice. But I was a part of that, decision, right? So you are thinking about karma. intentional, unintentional, categories of this karma, right? So if it is unintentional, it is not a karma. If it was an intentional activity, then it is a karma. So you can use karma concept, the concept of karma, to understand your resentment and to deal with it and to heal your resentment. So that's what we can see in this particular sutta called Āghāta Sutta, Anguttara Nikaya 5.161. So you can use 5 basic steps. You can use loving kindness to, get rid of your resentment. You can use, because you need that, everybody wants loving kindness and you need loving kindness. So why? Now, I'm always taking your side. If you think about how much love you need, you will never want to keep you resentful. Because if the more you resentful, the longer you suffer. So if you use loving kindness, also compassion, you will never give it a time. You will never take a chance with resentment. And upekka means equanimity. It is another good way of handling resentment, because when you balance out, you don't think that I have to be with this resentment, these objects of resentment. I just need to let go of that. And the last 2 are disregard. That's one of the very, very good ways of treating your resentment, because when you disregard, you don't think that they are, they are actually giving you a big time, because you know that you don't care about those things. And the karma, in my life too, I understand sometimes when people, I don't say people are mean, sometimes when people don't seem to be nice, at some points, I always think that maybe they don't know, maybe they are unintentional. It's a good way of thinking, rather creating resentment in us about those individuals. Okay. The other one, other sutta, Anguttara Nikaya 5.162, Dutiya āghāta Sutta. Arahant Sariputta shares with us some individuals who cause us resentment. There are 5 individuals. How we have to, get along with these individuals, and then practice our good thoughts about these people without keeping them as the objects of resentment. There is someone who is impure, whose actions and whose actions and whose words are not wholesome. So if we have people whose words and whose actions are not good, you have to understand how best we can get along with these people, if you think that you can separate from these people. And there is a simile, dirty rug. When you have a dirty rug, but you still think that you can make use of it, you know how you can make use of it, right? You don't take it with your hand, you just take it with your feet, and then how you take care, how you make the use of that dirty rug. In the same way, you just don't need to isolate people who don't have good actions and good words. Still, you might feel that there may be some time these people might be open up in a good way. So this is one way of looking at the people who might turn to be objects of resentment to you one day. Second is, there may be someone, I'm sorry, I think I made a mistake. So the first person is whose actions are not good, but whose words are good, right? There are people whose actions are bad, but their speech is good. So if that is the case in such a person, you understand that I may have a good time to talk to this person and change this person one day, because his or her speech is good, but not the actions. And then the opposite can happen, which means there may be someone whose words, whose speech is not skillful, good, but his actions are good. Then you are finding a time to help this person, make a good person, because at some point, this person might be open to you because his or her bodily actions are good. It is like the simile called the algae covered pond. So when you want to drink water from a algae covered pond, you just go there. You just you know you just purify. You just clean the algae, and then you know how to drink water out of it. So because algae can be taken out, and then you can and you can find good water in that. It is the simile for someone whose speech is not good, but his bodily actions. And there is another person whose bodily actions are bad, and which means his actions or her actions are bad, and also the speech, but his or her mental clarity is good. His or her thoughts are good. So you may sometimes wait to see when this person is going to be in a good mentality, so that you can help. It is like a puddle on the road. This is a simile. We call it the hoof print puddle, which means that there is someone who needs to drink some water, but he is not able to find water, but he only sees water in some places where the cows have put their hoof print, and then he has to kneel down, and then and slowly bring their mouth to that bit of water, because if they are so excited, then what will happen is that you can't drink that water because it is so muddy. So the area is so small, and that kind of a person is gonna kneel down and slowly bring mouth to the bit of water and sip it without disturbing the mud, so that he or she can quench the thirst. So in the same way, if there are people whose actions and words are not good, but their mentality is good, then you know how to approach them. So but if you don't understand that, you will think this person is a ground for your resentment one day, right? So it's basically about understanding people. And also there may be someone whose actions, words, and then mind, they all dirty, I would say unskillful. Then you have to treat that there are sick people. We call it the sick traveler. If there is a sick traveler who can find treatment on the road, then what will happen to that person? So you feel compassionate toward that kind of a person. Let's say you get to know someone who has no help at a time that he or she is not really good, skillfully and unskillfully. So you're going to help that kind of a person, by being safe, right? So you will not take that kind of a person as an object for your resentment. And the best one is that there may be some people who are good in their bodily actions, good in their verbal actions, good in their mental actions, like mental thoughts, like a clear lake, right? So we won't have any problems. We won't take any resentment with those people. But mostly we might take resentment from the people who don't have actions, thoughts, and words skillfully. So that's why Buddha asks, especially in this sutta, Arahant Sariputta asks us to understand different people differently and try to be compassionate. And by being safe, you're gonna figure out how you're gonna work with those people. Rather you should not make them as the objects of your resentment. Resentment should not be arisen at any times. If resentment arises in you, which means that you don't understand these 5 groups of people. Okay? And then I want to share with you a couple more steps to deal and heal resentment that we may have. So I shared with you at the beginning that we should not justify resentment at any time. Resentment is bad. It is a toxic thing. It's a cancer. You gotta deal with it with loving kindness, compassion, equanimity, disregard, and then karma. But now I'm gonna share with you additional steps that you can take to deal and heal your resentment. So I would take it as number 6, right? As we already talked about 5 steps. Number 6. So it basically means that you need to check your motives and expectations when you are helping someone. Now, a lot of people, when they help, this happens to many, I think, when they clearly look at the reasons of their resentment. Some people, they want to help others simply because they want to get benefited in return. If you have this in your mind, you will definitely be resentful about that person, because nobody will do the same thing to you in return. So if you really want to help someone, do not keep any thoughts about that person, the recipient of your help, that this person will do the same thing to me one day. Do not keep that with you, because if you do that, you will be definitely angry at that person, because that person won't do the same thing to you. So you will be very resentful. If you want to do a help, do it without expectations. Although that person is grateful to me or not, your intention is just to help that person. So that's number 6. Help without expectations. Number 7, be grateful. I think a lot of people, they are ungrateful to themselves. Why do I say like that? Because I think that a heart that is full of gratitude has little room for conceits or resentment. So if you are really grateful to you, you will never bring resentment to you, because you know that there are many things for you to be grateful, to be happy, compared to things that you wanted to justify that I want to be resentful. So now whenever you are stressed out, resentful, I could suggest something. What I could suggest is that take a pen and a paper, write down at least 10 things that you are grateful in that particular moment. Grab a pen and a pen or pencil, write down 10 things that you are grateful for in that particular moment, whenever you feel resentful. So what I understand is that whenever you are focusing on good energy, I would say 10 grateful things and moment, there's no room, there's hardly no room for being resentful, because you are resentful about thinking about other people who are not treating you enough. But whenever you are thoughtful about gratitude towards yourself, writing 10 things and looking at what I wrote for being grateful, you are minimizing any opportunity to be resentful. Grab a piece of paper with a pen, write down what are you grateful for in that particular moment whenever you are stressed out or resentful. Then you will get over. That's another step. So I would say this is going to be your 6th, 7th step. 8th step, stay open to different outcomes. We know in our life on a daily basis, we may face a lot of frustrations. Don't worry. Frustration should come to us because things don't happen the way we want. That's what Buddha said. Buddha said, what was the Pali term? Yam pichang nalabati tampi dukkham. People do not always get what they want, right? So whenever we do not get what we want, what should we do? Do we need to frustrate? No. We have to learn a lesson out of it. At the same time, understand that particular moment. Now, for example, I would say I wanna be grateful to someone, but that person doesn't need my help. So what should I do? I have to understand that particular situation with mindfulness and compassion. This person doesn't need my help. right? And even you take another example, I would say someone is resentful, you are resentful to someone, but you are always thinking about how you can control their lives, how they are supposed to do things. But why don't you think about that is their life? I have no control over it. So why I'm not grateful to me in that moment? Why I'm not reflecting and contemplating on the good things, grateful things that I have done in my life? Maybe why you are not thinking about things that the same person did to you in a positive way? Why you only pick on that particular one single thing, right? I know this can happen to many. There are people, very good people, but all of a sudden, one of the persons is going to say, you did this small mistake, you know, on this particular day. You didn't do this for many years, but you did this today. So why you want to make that as a small problem? You understand that how you're going to keep up with your friends and families, I mean, basically with your inner circle. So always stay open to different, situations, outcomes, without looking everything black and white, right? If you are not keeping that open-mindedness, that openness with your inner circles, you will be in trouble. You will definitely have resentment, which is not good. Okay. Number 9, I would say, examine how your resentment may come from mentally confusing people in your present life with people from your past. So you don't need to bring the past into your present people, which is not good. So that is a good step to do too. And also, learn to identify signals that provoke resentment. Now I know there's a good way, good practice called HALT, H-A-L-T. If you can think about these 4, you will definitely get over your resentment as fast as you can. Hungry, H stands for hungry, A stands for angry, L stands for lonely, and T stands for tired. Hungry, angry, lonely, tired. So if you know that, hold this particular word. So if you understand the signals of your emotions, if your emotions seem to be hungry, angry, lonely, tired, these are the signals of resentment. You gotta get over it right away. And then practice some cognitive behavioral techniques. Sometimes whenever you have a thought between your feelings of resentment and normally what happens is that the object of the resentment and you're ruminating of that particular resentment. And why don't you bring another thought between those two? Now, for example, I would say somebody was mean to someone. So that person is thinking about that object. That is one thought. And then that person is to ruminate, think too much about that particular thought now. So these two thoughts now are going to combine. Why don't you bring a thought of loving kindness, compassion, equanimity, or whatever between these two, and you are going to minimize the damage, right? And the last step that I want to share with you to deal with your resentment and heal your wounds is forgiveness. This is the best thing. But a lot of people, they refuse when it comes to forgiveness for people that they are feeling resentful. What I suggest is that forgive as much as you can. But if you think that you can practice forgiveness, then at least you try to practice willful and deliberate forgetfulness. Willful and deliberate forgetfulness. Because whenever you can forget resentment, the objects of resentment willfully or deliberately, that can really help you, right? Because you think that the people who might say that I can forgive but cannot forget, that's also a dangerous statement at some point. So if you cannot practice forgiveness, at least practice willful and deliberate forgetfulness about the objects of resentment. Because a lot of people think that when they forgive, the only benefit is for others who they are forgiving for. But please keep in mind, you are forgiving. The highest benefit of the forgiveness is mainly for yourself, because you are not trying to punish you anymore. When you are resentful, when you are angry, you are punishing yourself. Why you punish yourself? So when you forgive someone for something that they did to you, you are forgiving you in the first place. You are trying to love yourself. You are not punishing. You are not self-punishing anymore. So please understand all these steps, so that you can deal and heal your wounds that have already come to you as toxic wounds out of resentment. So let me recap all the steps one more time. So I shared with you 5 steps from Sutta: practice loving kindness, compassion, equanimity, disregard, and then the concept of karma. Those 5. And then I said, examine your resentment, because it can come from, it can cause confusion to people that you are with now. So please examine why you want to bring that unnecessary thing, the bygone stuff, into the life of present people that you are with. That is 6. Number 7 was, I ask you to practice this HALT acronym, HALT, which means that you gotta understand the signals of resentment. HALT stands for 4 things: hungry, angry, lonely, tired. So you understand, whenever you are hungry, whenever you are angry, whenever you are lonely, whenever you are tired, there's a great chance that you will be having resentment followed by. So be careful. And then that was I guess 7th, and the 8th one was to bring an additional thought between the object of resentment and your ruminating of that particular resentment. So then you are trying to minimize, and then maybe you are deconstructing resentment anymore. And the last step was to forgive. If you can't forgive, at least practice deliberate or what do you call willful forgetfulness about things people did to you, which came about as resentment later. Okay, so that's for today, and I hope you learn how to deal and then heal your wounds which came as a result of your resentment. I hope that you will figure out, and you will heal at the end. So healing is what we require from all these things. Can Bante write here? Yeah, I can write after. Okay, thank you. So let's share all the good karmas with the departed relatives and the deities. Idammi ñāti dang hotu sukita huntu ñātayo. Idammi ñāti dang hotu sukita huntu ñātayo. Idammi ñāti dang hotu sukita huntu ñātayo. We're going to be sharing good karmas with the deities who protect all of us. May all the good karmas be shared by all the deities, and may they be happy and peaceful. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavata cha ammehi sambatang punya sampadang. Sabbe deva anumodantu, sabbe bhuta anumodantu, sabbe satta anumodantu, sabbe sampatti siddhya. Ākāsattha ca bummattha deva naga mahittika. Punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu lokasasanang. Chirang rakkhantu desanang. Chirang rakkhantu mang paranti. Finally, let's make a great wish. May all the good karmas we've been accumulating in all these ways be helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. So this is the greatest wish we've been doing all the times, and we want to make it a practical reality. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. I'm going to be blessing you with a couple more stanzas. Please receive the blessings. Abhivadana silisa nichang bandha pachayino. Chattaru dhamma vaddhanti ayuvanno sukhang balang. Ayurarogya sampatti, sagga sampatti mevacha, ato nibbana sampatti, iminati saminjatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you. Have a good night, and please continue to take care of yourself in this pandemic time. Have a good night for those who joined from Canada, the United States, and have a good day for those who joined from Asia.